Hey guys, so I just finished washing my face and I'm gonna go in with this Virgin Marula Luxury Facial Oil. So next I'm going to go in with this Olay Regenerist Ultra Rich Hydrating Moisturizer. I'm gonna start off with my brows. I'm gonna use this WBCo soap brow and a disposable spoolie. To use the soap brow, just go ahead and wet it with water or a setting spray, and I just brush it through my brows, and this helps my brows last all day. I'm going to use the Anastasia Brow Wiz in dark brown. Once I shape my brows to my liking, I'm going to go in with this Stay Naked Correcting Concealer in the shade 70 NY, and I go in the shade that's close to my skin tone, and this is when I start cleaning up underneath the brows. Sometimes to help me get my brow bone a bit cleaner, I lift the brow and then also clean up underneath it to get the shape I'm looking for, and if I take too much off, I just go back in with the brush and clean it up. I go back in with the pencil and just fix it. I also use the same shade to clean the top of my brows as well. I'm going to go ahead and prime my face. I'm going to use a Dior Capture You for mattifying my T-zone, and for the rest of my face I'm going to use the Makiage Smoothing Primer. So I'm using a smoothing primer to even out any texture, to smooth out any textured areas that I have on my skin, and a maximizing primer to target my oily zones so my makeup lasts throughout the day, this evening. Now that my primer is on, I'm gonna go ahead and use the LA Pro correctors, the concealers in peach and orange. I'm gonna mix those together to target my dark spots on my face to help cover those areas up. Now that I've targeted those dark areas on my face, I'm gonna go back in with that same concealer I use on my brows and just put it right on top of the areas where I apply the orange corrector. And I do this because it just helps it blend the coverage. For me, it helps blend it in a lot better, so then when I go in with my brightening highlighter or my brightening concealer, it covers the coverage is pretty well. So I'm pretty much just doing everything in layers, and I'm just pressing it into the skin. And I'm making sure to cover up all the orange corrector as well. And I'm just going to use a dry beauty blender to push that product in a little more, help it blend out more. I don't want to wet it. I know if it's dry I'll soak up some of the product, but I want it to not disturb it with being wet. Okay, so now that I did my color correcting of sorts, I'm going to go in with my highlight concealer. So to brighten up my face, I'm going to use this Nars concealer. It's in shade medium dark 1.5 Sucre Dior. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, probably butchered it. So in this look, I am not using foundation. I want to keep my makeup lightweight, and sometimes when I use foundation it feels a bit heavier to me. I know for each person is different, especially for some people who wear a full face every day or just foundation every day, but with it being warmer, I just like it more lightweight. So now I'm going to go ahead and wet my sponge and blend in the concealer. I went ahead and just wet the sponge with some water. I felt like it was starting to dry out from just using the setting spray. So the sponge is damp. So with using this Nars concealer, you might want to just go in sections and highlight your face because this one dries out pretty well. It dries out pretty quickly. As you can see, it's getting splotchy on my face, which I don't like. So I'm just going to go in with one of my faves. Of course, it's the Double Duty Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Tan Deep Sand. Now mind you, this one also, the Tarte Shape Tape, does dry down pretty quickly as well, but they also have a creamy version which you can get, which gives you time to work with it. And be mindful, the packaging is the same, so if you do want it, make sure it's creamy and not the original. So I'm going to use that same brush that I use for my brows, and I'm going to use it to apply concealer to my eyes to brighten up my eyelids for when to brighten them up and prep them for eyeshadow. I don't really use eyeshadow primers. I have them, but I like using concealer more. It's just a preference. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead, plus I want to give my brow bone a nice highlight as well, so I'm going to use the concealer on my eyes. For my contour, I'm going to use powder, and I'm using the Nars Matte in the shade, okay, I can't pronounce this, I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to leave it in the description box below. So I'm going to use an angled brush, a fluffy angled brush, and I'm going to contour along my jaw, around my cheekbone, around my hairline, and also around my jawline, just to define and give it some structure, and along my nose to contour it to give it some definition as well. For my face, I'm going to use this Estee Lauder Double Wear powder foundation I can't talk yet, sorry. I'm going to use this Estee Lauder Double Wear powder foundation in the shade Sandalwood 6W1, and I usually like to use like a flat brush, whether it's like a small kabuki brush or a flat top brush of sorts. Here's another one, just big wide ones. Here's another one, like those type of flat dense brushes, and I just pack it onto my skin. Now because I probably look like I kind of blended out my contour, I wanted it to stand out a little bit more. I'm going to go back in and just reapply it to the areas where I wanted it to be a bit stronger, to show more definition on my face. Now the same brush that I use for my contour, I wipe it off on just some paper, on a paper towel, and I use that to apply my blush as well. So for my blush, I'm going to go in to the Nars blush, and I'm going to use the shade Torrid. Just to define my contour on my cheeks a bit better, I'm going to use the Mercier powder to define that. The palette I've been using a lot is the Charlotte Tilbury palette. It's the Pillow Talk Instant Eye Palette. And as you can see what my favorite shade is, it's the Desk one. Yes guys, I've used it quite a bit, so it probably does look dirty. This is actually like my everyday palette. Yeah, try to wipe it off. Ain't gonna work. I'm using Desk, and then the two shades I'm going in is with this light beige shade and this light pink shade. And those shades I mixed together to do my transition shade. And I'm going to use a fluffy blending brush. This is a Morphe M504 brush. So I usually just go in between both and just twirl the brush around both. Go back and forth. Tap off the excess and start this in my crease. And I'm blending up towards my brow bone. I'm holding it up like this in my crease, not like this, not like this, like this. I'm doing little circular motions and back and forth windshield wiper motions. And I don't mind it too much if it does get on the lid, because I'm just going to use another shade to go over that. But I'm pretty much keeping it to the brow bone and the crease. And if you're not sure what that is, this right here where you feel the muscle is your brow bone, where your eye dips in. That's your crease. And then this right here is your lid. And that's just a little nomenclature for those who aren't familiar with your eye when it comes to makeup. Alright, so now that that's nice and blended out, very subtle. Okay, I'm just going to use this Sephora brush. It's a shadow brush, but it's thin. So I'm going to use this to blend into my crease. That way I can point it in and guide it to where I want. So where it dips in, let me zoom in some more. So where I have the dip, you see I have a like folded lid, and then above it is a dip. This right here, where it dips, is your crease. Where my lid folds over, I would bring my eyeshadow up. That way, I'll bring it up to about here. That way, it widens my eye, makes my eyes look bigger, and you don't see the fold. It blends in with the eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go into Date and go into this middle brown shade. Actually, no, I'm not going to use that one first. I'm going to actually go into Date and use the lightest brown shade. So I'm packing it on the outer edge. And then I'm blending it into the crease. Now I'm not going to bring it all the way over, so maybe about here, and just like feather it out, but I wouldn't bring it all the way over, because then it'll look like you have a straight line, or unless that's the look you're going for. You can see where it's getting more thick brow bone and the crease is getting more defined. I'm going to go in now to that darker brown shade, this one. And I'm still in the, oh, make sure I got the right one. This not the chocolate one, but the medium brown one on the same brush. Just tapping up the excess. I'm gonna build that into my V. And this is just to define my crease a little better. And I'm gonna take a brush. Let me find a tapered brush. I'm gonna use this brush right here. This is a Morph M441. It's nothing on it, it's tapered. Comes right up. I'm just gonna use to help blend out that dark brown. Now I'm gonna go back into this Morph M504 brush that we use to put our transition shade down. And just make sure everything's blended together, and if you need to, go back in those shades. I'm going to use this flat brush. I'm going into Day. It's a golden shade. I'm going to apply that to my lid. And I'm just pressing it in. I'm not swiping. I'm pressing it in. And where you see my fold, I'm going to bring it up that high. And sometimes it may help to lift your eye if you need to. I mean, for everyone is different, but that's just a little tip that might work for some people. Now I'm going to show you the difference. Now if I just put it on the lid space and not where my crease is, see how this eye looks a bit smaller? I'll zoom out, give you a better look. See, this one is just the lid. This one goes above the crease. You want to go above the crease. And then I just go back in with that shade we use for the browns. The brush that we use for the browns. The shadow brush. And I'm just going to blend in that brown and that gold shade. Blend them together. So I'm going to use this smudge brush. And I'm going to go back into the pink and the beige shade we first used. And I'm going to just smudge that along my lower lash line. And for my eyeliner, I'm going to use the Kite London Wonderland Black Cold Liner. And for my eyeliner, I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink. I can't talk. I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink Liner. It's like a felt pen. I'm going to go ahead and remove that powder that was under my eyes. And also for my lower lash line, I'm just going to take an angled brush. I'm going to go in with that. Go back to Date and get into the middle shade. And just push that right up under my lashes just to define my eyes more. Now that the eyes are done, for my highlight, I'm going to go in with this MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the shade Oh Darling. Wow, whole thing just fell out. You just gonna put it right back in? Like it never happened. I'm gonna use this small fluffy brush to apply the highlighter. And I'm gonna bring it up to here. Just apply it right in this area. So this is where the light's gonna shine, and this is where I want it to be seen. I'm also gonna highlight the center of my nose. I'm also gonna go in with that same shade I use, well, the same brush I used to apply the shimmer shade on my lid. And I'm also gonna apply this highlight right on top of that. I like to apply a little bit of moisturizer on my lips to begin with, and I just kiss off the excess so it's not too much when I apply my lipstick and it's not too much moisture. For my lip liner, I'm going to use the MAC lip liner in the shade Chestnut. And for my lipstick, I'm going to use two MAC lipsticks. The first one is in the shade Sea Sheer. That's Sea Sheer. And then the next one is going to be called My Tweety. So I usually put Sea Sheer all over and then My Tweety in the center. Okay guys, and this is pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and spray my face down with some setting spray. I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter. You can do lashes. I know I didn't do mascara either, but this is literally how I've just been wearing my face lately, very lightweight. I really don't like wearing mascara a lot because I always feel like it's a big mess to take off, which that's just me being lazy really, because it's not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I could throw on some mascara and some lashes. I just don't. So this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Black. One of my all-time favorite mascaras. And I'm going to layer that with the Urban Decay Perversion mascara. Just the top lashes only. So guys, this is the finished look. I hope you like it. If you do like, please leave a comment below, and also don't forget to hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button for more videos. Thank you. Bye.